and getting to know people. And I feel like, especially at Furman, I've had the chance to become involved in different types of communities, just through different organizations. And so I guess each of them is important because I meet and get to know different groups of people and learn about them, and it kind of doesn't shape who I am, but helps me kind of reevaluate myself.
So my family and my church family, they've been really important to me. And then BCM, Baptist Collegiate Ministry at Furman, has been very important to me. And just having a group of people that can come and sit around, eat a good dinner, and talk about the Bible. So.
My group of friends at home, we've been close since we were really little. And I just feel like I can be completely myself with them, and they've taught me a lot about who I am and how to live together well. And coming to Furman, I've had so many opportunities to form new communities that look a little bit different. I feel like what I learned with them, I'm able to apply, and I'm able to show up better in the new communities that I'm learning to be a part of because of that. It needs to be completely yourself, and to be present, and just not hold back and trust each other.
So I think the communities that have been honestly the most impactful for me have been a couple of solid friend groups, and you become a community that has no fear about whether you're accepted or whether you're gonna be cared for if you need something or something happens.
At Furman, I feel like I have a pretty solid core group of friends at this point that have been real good to me. And also just like music communities at Furman have been a big part of my experience, as well as obviously things like EDM. I think just because the nature of the music communities that I'm a part of require everybody to spend a lot of time together all the time. So you get to know each other on a very familial level of like, I don't like you all the time, but you're still one of mine.
One of the biggest communities, like on Furman specifically, that's been really impactful for me was EVM, but also MCF and Religious Rainbow. So the like spiritual club communities have been really, really important to me because, I don't know, like there's a lot of people that are both like-minded and also have a lot of differences, and that are willing to support you and to talk about what you believe and what you're feeling, and that's been really, really nice. The theater and Dungeons and Dragons, and there's a lot of places that I felt really supported, and I feel like that's what's most integral, you know, finding a place where you feel loved.
Is the community, the worshiping community I was a part of when I lived in Israel-Palestine for a year. It was a small English-speaking congregation of the Lutheran Church of America, and it just had a powerful sense of community, I think partly because of the intense situation we were experiencing and living amid the conflict, and all of us being far from home. So I think that connected us and made us feel a greater sense of need for one another, a greater sense of need for God, for worship, for communion, in a way that I haven't experienced in other worshiping communities before or since.
It's just been a lot of like finding really creative ways to hang out with each other, like outdoors or online or things like that. And then I think it's also really important to just be willing to be vulnerable with your communities, because it's such a weird and rough time for pretty much everyone. So it's just important to really know how to talk about those things with the people you're close with, and then like that brings you closer together with them.
Yeah, just mostly finding another way to hang out and being more intentional about it. You have to actually go and meet, and it's not just, hey, I saw you, let's sit down. You actually have to make a time and a plan and a place. So.
Intentionality has been such an important part of what COVID community looks like, and saying like, I know that this is hard right now to have friendships or to be a part of groups. Like, this feels awkward and I'm going out on a limb, but I have to do this for my own well-being and for building up all those around me too.
Which has been a very odd transition to go from spending a lot of time with your friends in person to spending a lot of time with your friends online. But I feel like once we kind of hit that learning curve, we found lots of ways to plug in and to still get to spend time with our friends and build community. It feels a little less personal, but you still get to be with other people and have those shared experiences. So it's a give and take. It has its positives and its negatives.
One of my D&D groups is now spread across 5 different states, and without like COVID necessitating everybody being online all the time, I don't think we'd still be in contact with each other. So it's been kind of a silver lining.
All of my first cousins have been doing Zooms. Why didn't we do that a year ago? But some of my cousins, I hadn't seen their faces in years, and I think that there's something about the way that virtual gatherings have been normalized during this pandemic that have given us the creative permission to gather people we hadn't been gathering before, because we thought of ourselves as being constricted by geography, and that's been really beautiful.
I feel like in all these places where I've found connection or support, even if they haven't been communities which directly impact my spirituality, like religious or spiritual clubs, just having a network or a support group that is there to talk to you about what you're feelings helps to find your beliefs better. You know, if you have somebody to talk about what you believe in, then it's easier to find your niche.
And especially with spiritual groups on campus, and a lot of my friends are very spiritual, and so having those relationships at Furman has really grown that.
I think it's just taught me that if I am in a place that really is community, I can be completely myself, and I can just like I can trust my community with like my deepest emotions and thoughts. I can also trust God with those things.
For me, that has been in my being a part of community where not everyone believes the same thing I do, or even has faith in God or a higher power, because I am able to see all of the different ways that I think God is working in the world and in every human being and in all of creation. And being a part of community where there are so many different personalities and so many different beliefs makes God bigger for me.
I think it's helped me grow in spirituality and helping me rely on God more. So it's really growth. I've seen that a lot since I've been here at Furman. I think community is really important to growing, because you can't do it by yourself. So you always need somebody.
I most often feel connected to God through community, whether it's my worshiping community, my friendships, my family. I feel like it's easier for me to hear the voice of God through the compassion and love that others have for me, the reminders that they give me about how God is working in my life, the ways that I see God at work in them and in the community provides me really consistent reminders of God's work and presence in the world that I wouldn't get without being part of those communities and those relationships.
There's a world at war, caught in suffering, silent casualties. Oh God, grant us peace. In these sleepless nights, I can hardly breathe, despite brutality. I know that we'll be free. I know that we'll be free. So let the light in, keep it shining. Let it break into the darkness. All the love dares us to see. We'll all be free. In these desperate times, love will when we see our brother. Oh, we'll all be free. Oh yes, we'll all be free. Let the light in, keep it shining. Let it break into the darkness. All the love dares us to see. We'll all be free. So let the light in, keep it shining. Let it break into the darkness. All the love dares us to see. We'll all be free.
Let's pray. We speak to the God, the Spirit of life, the eternal. We speak to the mysterious thread that connects us one to the other and to the universe. We speak to the deep wisdom at the center of our beings. We embody the yearning of all people to connect with each other more deeply, to hear each other more keenly, to see each other's joys and sorrows as our own, and know that we are not alone. Unless we create solitude for ourselves, and even then, community awaits us. Out of our yearning, we have come to this religious community. May we help each other to proclaim the possibilities we see, to create the community we desire, to worship what is worthy in our lives, to teach the truth as we know it, and to serve with justice in all the ways that we can, to the end that our yearning is assuaged and our lives fulfilled in one another. Let us go now into the silence of the faith that is unique to each of us and still the same. Let us be silent together for a moment. May peace be yours. Amen.